I tell you just for 30 seconds while we get quiet that I met Mary McLeod Bethune? Yes. And I got a scholarship to college from the National Council of Negro Women, the organization which she founded. And in 1974, I worked to put the monument to Mary McLeod Bethune in Lincoln Park in Washington, D.C. It was the first monument. Yeah. We had 35,000 people there. It was the first monument to a woman of any race and to an African American on federal land.
Introduce yourself to my people.
Well, I'm definitely one of Leroy's people. And who am I? I am woman, hear me roar. I am first and foremost someone who tries to be true to myself and live in right relationship with other people. Those people, in some order of priority, include my children, my spouse, my grandchildren, our extended family, my community, and the people who are in my orbit, and our orbit is an orbit of social justice. We are all moving in a direction together, and these are the people that feed me and fuel me and to whom I feel responsibility.
What do you feel is the most pressing issue before us today as African Americans?
Well, today, particularly today, the world weighs heavily on our shoulders. It feels as oppressive as it has ever felt. The great hope, the motherland, we look toward and we see remarkable beauty, shining examples of leadership, but they don't blot out the devastation that existed hundreds of years ago and still exists today. And it's as if that devastation continues to flow in this direction and in this country today, particularly today. We are in the midst of a battle, not just for the presidency and the head of state, but for justice and freedom, decency, integrity. We have a nation divided around race. All the battles that we thought we fought, and some that we thought we maybe not won, but we had made important incursions and inroads, seem to be facing us again. It is now okay, as you go around documenting the important parts of our history, other people are documenting this fight to keep us suppressed. And in this month of March 2012, Women's History Month, and the prior month and Black History Month, these examples of oppression, of the ways in which systems built and held up and perpetrated on racism are extending their reach and being fueled by society, the parts of society that should be trying to do away with racism, unite America's people, have us working toward common goals. Not happening. Not happening. This debacle of a Republican primary that has played out, whether we want to pay attention to it or not, is really telling us that there are entire segments of this population that do not care to see women in charge of their lives, that still see black people, particularly black men and boys, as threats to this society and threats to the power establishment. They must be controlled, they must be contained, and in the case of our president, our current seated president, they must be diminished. That nothing that he can do, no matter how magnificent he is or it is, can be given credit, because that would undermine these forces that still are at play to make us seem inferior.
Now, you just mentioned Women's History Month 2012.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe is the biggest issue for you as a woman in 2012? Is it ethnicity?
Mm.
Is it age? Is it education?
Mm.
What would be the biggest issue for you as a woman today?
Well, the one that I feel most connected to, there's so many issues across the age spectrum, and some of those issues I know that my younger sisters are, fully embracing and working toward. For me, the global concern for women that has my attention and my focus, and it's the focus of much of what I do and care about, is health. And I think if we look at the disparities in health of women in the United States today, that we see a reflection of the long history of oppression and bad public policy. So, sexism, yes, I tend not to feel personally so offended by it, because at a certain age you expect it, you deal with it, and to be successful you learn how to overcome some of it. I wish it were different. I wish it were different, and in many cases it has been. And that way I'm privileged to have risen above a lot. And I don't fall back on race and sex as the primary reasons that I personally don't succeed. I look first at myself and the ways in which I choose to work and be effective. And when something's wrong, I try to fix it and try to understand what it is. But I do operate within this system, and I realize when the system is weighing heavily upon me, even though I work alongside many different people, gender, men, people, diverse groups of people. We lock arms, we're allies. I don't feel the sting of oppression that women that I first felt when I was entering the labor market as a young woman in the early 60s. But I do think it exists, and that health is the place where it shows up the most for me. That this country is having a national debate about the value of health insurance and what health care services women are entitled to is revisiting the 19th century, as far as I'm concerned.